Joining me now, Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist, and from the Heritage Foundation, Tori Whiting. Great to see you both.
Nice to be here.
Good to be with you.
Grover, first to you, turning into a trade war with Republicans. What are your thoughts on what the president just said? Wait for a second. We want you to listen in to what Republican Doug Collins said. Congress only has itself to blame. Watch.
The most responsible way to address it is by taking up, debating, and voting on bipartisan legislation that would actually fix the vulnerabilities in our current law that are being exploited by the human smugglers. Tariffs, on the other hand, would be a massive tax.
What the president is doing is simply pushing Mexico to help us in this regard. But this comes back to a Congress that needs to act. I need a chairman who is not obsessed with investigations. I need a chairman who will actually do his job, and a committee that will do his job on immigration, because we have the way to fix this.
They have the way to fix it, Grover. What are they doing?
Well, there's a challenge here. The president would like Mexico to change its behavior, but what he's doing is raising taxes on the American people. Tariffs are not a tax on Mexico. They're not a tax on Mexicans. They're a tax on American consumers.
Yeah, people
That's
get that,
who
but
gets hurt.
the question is, where's Congress on this?
Well, there's several challenges. The Democrats in Congress have refused to give us the 60 votes in the Senate that you need, or the votes in the House, now that the Democrats took over, to get border security. The president's quite correct that the Democrats in Congress have refused to get us border security at our side. The president's trying to get it on the Mexican side.
Understood. But, you know, here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, Grover, but Tori, anyone who's watched Trump knows that he's been saying since the 1980s that the U.S. is getting taken advantage of. He said it back about Japan. Then long before 2016, Trump was saying it was about China. Now it's about Mexico. Do you think Mexico will finally deal? Because Mexico cannot reasonably think it's normal to have 100,000 people walking through its country and just going north. That's not normal.
Well, here's the thing, Liz. There's absolutely no doubt that we do have a crisis at our border when it comes to immigration. But the thing is that we shouldn't be using tariffs to fix that problem. If the president came out today and said he was increasing the income tax by 5%, there would be an uproar if that was being used as a negotiating tactic to fix issues with immigration. So this shouldn't be happening. He should be putting pressure on Congress, and we should be enforcing our laws on the books.
Yeah, but Congress isn't. I hear what you're saying, Tori. It's an important point you're making. Grover, to Tori's point, Congress isn't doing anything. Listen, this country wants to help the poor, absolutely. But the situation is out of hand. You guys know this. It's dangerously open, the border. It's people from Bangladesh, from the Middle East, from Pakistan, from China. Again, can anybody reasonably say that the immense movement of 100,000 people through a country every month is normal?
No, it's not normal. It's not a good idea. We should have border security. The challenge is, what are the tools to fix that? And is raising taxes on the American people fixing the problem, or is it creating another problem?
Stay on that, because here's what Tori, Grover makes an important point. Here's what the U.S. wants from Mexico. Tighten border security on your border with Guatemala, target smuggling operations, and that safe third country agreement that Mexico signed onto, Tori, in 1951 with the UN Convention, whereby if somebody passes through Mexico, they got to apply for asylum first in Mexico. They can't get U.S. asylum. Mexico has to take them back. Mexico signed on to that in 1951, in the 1951 UN Convention.
I mean, here's the plain and simple fact, Liz. These are important asks that the U.S. government is making, but it's also a big lift for Mexico. I mean, the Heritage Foundation every year publishes our Index of Economic Freedom, and part of that scoring is corruption. And corruption in Mexico is very high. So fixing these sort of things is difficult. It takes time. There's no doubt that Mexico has been improving and increasing its participation in stemming this border crisis. Earlier this year, Mexico is deporting around 500 immigrants per month, or per day, pardon me, and now it's more than 1,000. So there is improvement happening.
And their border, though, Grover, Mexico's border is not with Guatemala, is not as wide as our border with Mexico. Grover, final word.
Well, look, they should be closing that border with Guatemala to people who are coming all the way through. And there are a couple of roads that if you just check those, you could keep a caravan from coming through. Mexico can fix this at their end. It's very important that we hurry up and get this fixed before the tariffs do more damage to the American consumer.
Grover and Tori, you've been great. Thank you so much. Coming now to the markets.